Good evening. Welcome to the Selectmen meeting of May 18th. This is a special meeting to look at insurance proposals for the town of Raymond and to award the bid. So, Kathy, you want to give us a quick rundown of what we got?
Sure. The results of we had 3 complete bids that were submitted for consideration. That was Maine Municipal, Cross Insurance, and Kai's. I want to say Keys all the time.
Happens all the time.
And we analyzed the bids and sent them to, based on coverage, the Cross and the Kai's were pretty identical. Kai's had a few lower deductibles. On the cost winner was clearly Kai's. We're just sort of ignoring workers' comp. We've taken it out of the equation right now. So comparing Kai's, Cross, and MMA, we came up with $37,521 for Kai's, $50,362 for Cross, and $54,257 for MMA.
That MMA bid include the membership fee?
No.
No. Okay. So we would just sign over, if we awarded to Kai's, we'd sign over the agent of record on the workers' comp to Kai's?
That would be my indication. I mean, that it depends. I mean, you could, I suppose, leave it with them if you wanted to, but I don't really see the point.
Yeah.
You just sort of want to have
You want to deal with one agent?
one point of contact.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So, how much do we have in the budget? So, if I remember, workers' comp was about 24.5, somewhere in there.
I had it down at 25.4 actually.
Okay, all right, well,
But I would recommend we're going to have to leave, I think, 2 in because we're going to have an audit. We could have an audit after this year is completed. And
yeah, they audit every year for payroll.
For workers' comp they do,
Right.
and also for auto. So
Okay.
I thought just leave it at,
All right, so let's say we leave it in there at 26.
okay.
Kai's came in at what, 32?
No,
521.
So that's 63,521.
That would have been a decrease, if we go down to 37,521, it would have been a decrease of 18,483. We probably are gonna have an auto audit, because we have an auto audit every year. So we're probably gonna owe a couple, $2,000 on the auto audit from this year. We'll owe that next year. So I would recommend that we decrease it 16,483.
Okay, I'm just thinking about when we get a town meeting, how much we can lower that article by.
Well, what I would, instead of carrying that over that way, I would look at taking that out of undesignated. You know, if we have to pony some up on the audit, do it that way rather than trying to second guess this, go in with a clean thing here for the new year. And, because it's gonna be an adjustment for the prior year's insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And handle it that way, rather than carrying into the next budget something that actually occurred in the prior budget.
I don't want to complicate things here, but we're going to suggest that we come up with a list for the town meeting. There's some other things that we can reduce, assuming we don't go with MMA, and I don't know why we would. I want to recommend that we not join and become a member. We have changes in Social Security. We've got some changes in a few things that can lower the budget. I'd like to do a list, bring you a list.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just get the list together and distribute it out. We should be hearing on health insurance.
Yeah.
The final quote, that should be coming. I meant to call him today, but we were short-staffed today.
You won't get that. You won't be able to get that until the 4th. You won't be able to, because that's going to
45
restart. It's going to restart in January, right? You won't get a valid quote
Oh, no, we're just gonna
Fourth
do,
quarter.
we're gonna do a stub period. We're gonna do July to December.
Oh, okay.
July to December, and then in
Yeah.
December,
Because
we're
in
gonna.
December, you're gonna have, we'll have to.
Yeah, you should be
because
able to
won't
get a
You won't get
quote
the new
now.
rates on, they won't lock.
No,
the
I
new
did,
rates.
I did all the paperwork to get to get it, so, and did all the census information. So I'm assuming that we should have that soon.
All right.
And I
So-
also looked at the carryover for medical for this year, and it's probably, my best guess right now is about 56,000, as opposed to 20, which
Yeah.
is what we put in the budget. And that's all I got to today for things that we need to reconsider.
It's too hot to do anything else.
Well, it's okay inside with the air on, it was okay, but we were crazy busy today, so
Everybody's coming out, you know.
everybody
Oh,
wants
so
to
nice.
register their boat.
Yeah. All right, I need a motion.
Well, what figure, well, we want, okay. I move to accept the Kai's bid as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Before we go any further, I want to thank you, Kathy, for doing all the work on this, and
Oh, you're welcome.
it's a very substantial savings that we're seeing, and I want to thank Kai's for coming in with such a great bid.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
It's
We're
terrific.
happy to do it, absolutely.
And don't let us down.
Do you
We'll
know
try
that?
not to, we don't think we will.
Okay.
We do this a lot.
Obviously,
so
you
we
do a
will.
lot of it,
We do
so
it, yep.
we appreciate it, so.
Couple,
Yep.
if I can ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Can you go up to the mic and just introduce
Absolutely.
yourself? And
Flint Christie from Kai's Insurance. I'm the president at Kai's currently.
My question really looks at stability and things like that.
Mhm.
Not your company's stability, but from the standpoint, of what we saw here is, all things being equal, we were getting a figure that was gonna be about almost 40% higher. You know, the off-the-cuff answer was, well, it's gonna go up by about this percent.
Mhm.
Based on your approach to looking at this, what's your approach year to year, looking at how do you maintain or look at getting better pricing on a going forward basis?
Sure, good question. I mean, that is a question we get a lot. You know, we typically are approached starting in January for budgets and what we anticipate the budgets will increase on the insurance piece. And we can typically look at your loss history because that's going to be your most telling portion of your policy that's going to change premium. Because the rates are pretty solid. They don't typically fluctuate much from year to year. I can tell you this particular quote, you were getting from the other carriers, the auto piece of that was very high with the other markets. And I think that's because they have to deal with the auto industry in general. The insurance people are going through a little bit of a crisis right now because auto rates or auto losses are through the roof. More people on the road, you know, distracted driving, cost of vehicles, cost of repairs. Because Trident is specifically doing government entity work, they understand that they don't have the same exposures that a Travelers would have or one of those other companies that's got to insure all commercial vehicles. So their rates are much more competitive per vehicle. So with that in mind, we typically see, usually with minimal loss activity, a 2 to 3% change year to year, and some of that is built into the inflation on the property, which they do automatically every year of 3%. And then accounts that are not performing particularly well, we'll see anywhere from 4 to 6, and then accounts that they consider difficult, they're 6 to 10. But we have, out of our 46 towns this year, I think we only had 4 that took a 6 to 10% rate increase. None took a higher than 10% rate increase, and the majority were somewhere in the ballpark of 3%. So that has been, as long as I've been there, that's pretty much been the standard. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
any other questions?
No.
Okay, all those in favor? Great, unanimous. Well, don't let us down, and thank you
Okay.
so much for
Now,
the
one
great
piece
bid.
that I think you might have factored in were the bonds. We will have to do bonds for,
I did factor
Okay,
those in.
perfect,
I did
perfect.
put
Yep.
them in.
great.
So once again, thank you, Don, thank you, Kathy. Substantial savings in the town of Raymond, always Good to see. Yep.
We probably, the other thought we have is we probably should have a discussion about setting a policy on the frequency of, you know, that we want to do this in the form. I think the form is what we did this last time, of course, but the frequency, and, you know, we're thinking every couple of years unless you want to do something more frequent than that.
I'm thinking like
I would
every
ju-
3.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, I certainly wouldn't want to do it every year. I
Right.
mean, you're trying to create a, you know, somewhat of a relationship with people,
Right.
and if you're sitting there, if they're on tenterhooks each year, then that's, you know, but clearly, you know, between 2 and 3 years is a good thing, because things change out there.
They do.
And, you know, it keeps us on our toes, keeps you on your toes.
If you would like my opinion on that, what I see typically is 5, but some towns will do 3. Farmington, for example, does 3 every time. 3 years, automatic, goes out to bid. So that's it. But the standard I see more so is 5. And it's because, I'm sure you can appreciate, it's a tremendous amount of work.
Mm-hmm.
So it tends to be,
Once
you know, as long as your rates haven't.
Well, once you get the
changed.
format together, it's not so
Yeah, you got the
bad.
format
True,
in place
true.
now. Now you just plug it in.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I kind of like the 3-year route. Sam?
So
I like the 3-year, but I think we need to review it as the 3rd year approaches,
Right.
rather than just say automatically we're gonna do it
Yeah.
in 3 years.
Yeah.
We may wanna go 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know as I really need anything too formal. I mean, basically, 3 years, using the sort of format we use this time. We'll make a note to file, and if we get to that point, and I guess we can discuss it with the then chair and select board and see if you want to do it. But assuming you do, then we can do it, if you want to keep it that simple.
So now you have July 1st coming up in a month and a half.
Yeah.
You got some work to do.
Yeah, we're all set as far as the property and liability. That quote is solid. I just need to give them the okay. I would come down and have some terrorism forms signed, give you your binders and invoices, and we're good to go on that. Workers' comp, we would, as you mentioned, need an agent of record letter, which would then transfer over as of July 1st. But we, you know, Mimic is our largest carrier, so,
Okay.
you know, we have no issues
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
whatsoever.
This happened before you got here, but I pointed out to, well, I guess you weren't there, but when I started my career in Dixfield, Kai's was the carrier of record for the town and still is. And so I had interactions with Rocky Bjorn and Richard Bjorn, who are principals in the company, and so it was a favorable experience.
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, motion to adjourn?
Moved.
All in favor? Thank you.